Hey everybody, this is Melina from scrapbookingwithme.com and Me Crafty Scrapper here on YouTube and Instagram and over on Facebook at Me Crafty Scrapper Creates. And today is another episode of Scrapbusters. And we are doing something just a little bit different. Usually in our scrap busting videos we make little individual things or mass make a few things. On today's video, we are going to make a journal cover out of scraps. And what we're going to start with is a paper bag. Now, usually everybody has some paper bags lying around, especially if you are a paper crafter. So this would be a journal cover for a mini journal, and y'all know if you've watched any amount of my videos that I love making mini journals. So this bag here, now this is a bag that we have in the shop available for sale. This is the small ones, I think. We have small, medium, and large. This is the small, and it is 6 1/4 inches by 9 1/2 inches. So when we fold this in half to make it a journal cover, we're looking at folding it at the 4 3/4 inch mark. Okay, so this would be the front of our journal. This would be the back. If we wanted to, we could slit this and we could have a pocket in the front of our journal, on the front of our journal, and then a pocket on the back of our journal. Okay, so making paper bag journals are one of the easiest ways to get a journal completed. And you have built-in pockets when you make it with a bag. I have a complete start to finish mini paper bag journal video that I will link in the description box below. But today what we're going to do is we're going to do this journal cover and decorate it just with scraps. This is a great way to get rid of scraps, and very easy. Very easy. So, get out your paper bag. It doesn't have to be the same size that I'm using, but get out your paper bag and let's get to crafting. So first what I'm going to do is put some decoration inside the bag here, which will be the front of the journal. I'm going to put some decoration on the inside here so I can get that lip taken care of. Then I'm going to go ahead and decorate the rest. And I thought maybe I could put in, I like that, just put in some of that stenciled book page, and then just a little bit of something there and there at the top. So that looks good to me. I love that. Let's go ahead and just put us down some glue on that lip here, and then we can come back. Doesn't have to go in too far, but just remember you will be, you know, opening that up to put stuff in it, so you want to go down a little bit in there. So do that, and then I will use my sticky scissors to come around and trim off the excess. Now I could have torn this if I wanted to and had like a little deckled edge too, but I like the look of that. That's pretty. And then let's do, and I've got more of that, so I could have that as like a little accent or something on here. But I also have these little notepad, the sticky pads, came out of one of the, I don't know, one of those subscription kits. Y'all know which one I'm talking about. I just can't think of it right now. A viewer sent me some sticky notes out of one of those. And that is what I want as my little accent on the front of my journal cover. And I will pull one of those off when we get everything decorated. So let's do a little bit of something. Yep, I like that. So this is a little strip I had left over from a master board. So I really like the look of that. So let's get some glue started here, just over the edge a little bit, and then we'll trim that off. I'm just going to go ahead and clip it about right there so that I can put the other piece down here. Cute, cute. Okay. And if I can get a hold of it. There we go. Let's get glue off of our mat before it causes an issue. And then just flip it over and trim off. Make sure to get excess glue off before it dries too, so that way you don't have a front of a journal cover that's all closed up. Okay, no glue down in there. That's good. I'm going to get my gathered twigs and just do a little bit of ink around the edges there. Okay, so there is the inside of that done. That's the most meticulous part. The rest of it you just kind of slap on there however you want to do it. So let's get that out. We might use that. And that little piece of blue doily. And then I like that tea dyed paper. I want to try to keep this as neutral as possible. Got a little bit of napkin there. I like that. So let's keep that too. And then I had these two offcuts that I really liked. And maybe that there somewhere. I'll have to cut off that up there. Have it as the background. I really like that. And maybe do this one underneath here somehow, and then decorate on top of that. Remember, when you are making a journal cover, you want it to be sturdy, and you want it to be thicker because it is your cover, and you're going to have to, it's going to have to, you know, withstand opening and closing and wear and tear and all that stuff. So paper bags are thin, so excuse me, thin. So you want to get you some girth onto this cover. So I need to get my trimmer and just go ahead and lop off the tops here of these. This was from a Die Cuts with a View paper pad, and with Die Cuts with a View, they don't bother to cut out the, or have you a little perforated top on the pages. They just let you let you deal with that yourself. Let's see. Let's go ahead and add this to the top. I need to trim it about there. Let's do the same thing with this one. We'll just line them up and trim them off. Now this is longer pieces of scrap, but we're going to be adding smaller pieces to the top. But everybody's got some kind of cut-offs from a previous project somewhere, so Surely you've got that. Okay. Like so. And then maybe like so. All right, let's get something to go underneath here, maybe all the way across. If we've got another piece of something that's long enough that can go there. Let's see here. I might not in my little pieces of scrap. I like that. And I like that too. Oh, the little clocks. That's cute. That can be for the tippy top. I like that piece, but it's not long enough. Let's see what we can get out of. Okay, now that's very pretty. That's another piece of that masterboard from there. I like that. So maybe like that. We're just making like a patchwork quilt, y'all. And I like this on top and not underneath. So that's good. Yep, I like that. So we're making kind of like a masterboard on top of a journal cover. Gorgeous. Yep, I'm just going to do that, and then we'll cover up a few other places with some torn stuff, and then we'll ink everything. Let's just go ahead and start inking, and then I'm sure I will do some splatter too, because y'all know I love to splatter stuff. So let's just go ahead and ink all this. I'm using the gathered twigs again. If anybody missed that, I'm using that as my distress ink for this journal cover. Now, since we will eventually fold this in half, it's going to have a lot of wear and tear to it, y'all. So I'm going to use a couple of different glues. I love my score tape when it comes to journal covers and pockets. It holds very well, and I don't have to wait for drying time like liquid glue. But if you are just a liquid glue lover, no worries, just do it with liquid glue. But I'm going to do the outer edges, like the border or frame or whatever, with my 5/8 inch score tape. And then I'm going to put liquid glue down the center of it and drip it on my desk at the same time. I'm going to use my little stylus getter, and then I have all of my backing off of the score tape. I'm going to line it up where I want it, and then use my bone folder like so. Alright, same thing on this one. Alright, so I've got my two larger pieces down, and then I'm putting on this little tea-stained piece of copy paper that I just tore one edge of it, and I decided I'm going to put it more toward the middle of the two strips. I like that look a little bit better. And then these two little strips will go across this way. And you do not have to do the two larger pieces like I did. You can just do little pieces of scrap to cover the whole thing. I just had these two offcuts that were kind of neutral looking that I really loved, that I wanted to try and use on this. I've got some glue here at the bottom that got up off of the back. So I'm going to use my adhesive eraser, and we carry these. Actually have the little taller pieces, adhesive erasers in the shop at scrapbookingwithme.com. I love mine. And then of course on the inside when we fold it up, we'll have, you know, the journal pages, the signature in it like that. And then you'll have this and this to also decorate. And you can totally do that with just scraps. Let's go ahead, put one piece of score tape down the middle here of this piece. This is a thicker piece of cardstock, and so is this because it is part of another master board. Okay, and then take those off and just put a little bit of liquid adhesive around the edges, and maybe that will keep this down enough. Okay, like so. And with the liquid adhesive on there along with the score tape, you have a little bit of wiggle room until, you know, you can put it down however you want to. I'm thinking, yep, let's just turn it around this way. I'm fine with it not going all the way to the end. I can put some kind of little semicircle or something right there to finish off that look. I like that. So let's take that back off. And then a little bit of liquid glue. And then I'm just going to barely overlap it with that other piece and then go back. I already love how this is looking. Just a very nice little patchwork journal cover. So that's the piece of napkin, and I'm just going to put it there. I'm going to just figure out where I want it, put a little bit of glue behind it. Now, you can totally put all this down with gesso if you wanted to. Don't even have to use the liquid glue that I'm using or the score tape. You can put it all down with gesso. Just get your little paintbrush and go to town with the gesso and get it all put down. Or you could put it down with Mod Podge. That's really probably what I'm thinking. Mod Podge. Mod Podge, yeah. Y'all know what I was thinking. Alright, so the glue's going to come through the napkin until it gets all dry. And I'm thinking I really like the look of these clocks as that little piece that I want to put here. So I'm going to tear so I don't have any straight edges. Just that little piece of, oh yeah, that's cute. Okay. Ink the edges. Put a good amount of glue and figure out how you want it on there. I think I want to turn it around this way. Yep. And just glue that down, wipe off any excess. And then you figure out if there's anything else you want to put down. So I told y'all I wanted to use one of these sticky notes, and see, that's going to go on there like so after I glue it down. And then when we fold our journal cover in half, we'll have that like that, and the back already looks like that. So the back is pretty much decorated. Yeah, I really like that. I like how that looks. So now I just got to figure out what else I want to put on the front here. maybe a little bit of music paper somewhere. I like that. Let's take off the straight edges of it. And maybe this little piece somewhere. I like the little gold foil in it. That's cute. Maybe if I bring the butterfly down just a touch, see what that looks like. I like that. We're going to take the straight edges off of that gold foiled piece too. And then let's get a little bit of this book page and add somewhere, and then maybe the blue doily back behind this so we can still see that. Get the butterfly put on. Yep, I'm liking that. So let's add a little bit of book page. I like this where it was torn out of the book. That's pretty. And then ink that edge and see where we want to put that. I really only want the doily part on here maybe. Oh, that was cut from the same paper. Look at there. You get those straight edges that's going to be seen off of there. Figure out how we want to do this. I don't want this too close to that. But I think I would like to cover up where I've got those two coming together. Y'all think so? Yeah, I like that. And we'll need to ink these two pieces. And maybe like so. Ooh, I like that. Okay, let's get these inked. That's, I mean, all there is to collage, guys, is just figuring out where you think it looks good. And don't worry about what anybody else thinks about it. That was the biggest thing I had to overcome, was like, oh, people are going to say, you know, how in the world, what are you doing that for? That don't look right there. You know what? It's mine. I'll do it however I want to. And once you get that attitude, you can conquer the world. No. Oh, me. It is nice to feel that way, though, to be like, you know what? It's mine, and I'll do it however I want to. Just stop. Alright, let's get this glued down, this little piece of book page that kind of goes along with our flap there, our little pocket opening. And I'm going to leave that a little bit lower, but it's just covering up that join there in the middle of that. And it's just random, y'all, just randomly placing it. And then I've inked up that dolly a little bit. I like that. And let's see. Just kind of covering up a few things before we put our, yep, I like that. Let's move this up just a touch. And then I'm just going to randomly put around a little bit of glue to get that dolly glued down. Kind of spread it out as you do it, but don't rip your dolly. And then that way you figure out where else needs just a touch of glue. Okay. And then a little bit of glue on the back side of that, just to kind of cover up the top of that piece. And then we're covering up, I want to have the straight edge underneath this other piece. So let's do it like so. And then this one like so. Cute, just a little layered accent. And then, as well as we can ink a sticky note pad, just a little sheet, because this is just paper, it's not cardstock. There we go. Dirty that up pretty good, and then get you some good liquid glue to the back of it, even on the sticky part. And then let's get this butterfly added on here. Ooh, I like that. I'm going to pull it down just a touch. Very cute. Alright, and then I'm going to get this little script stamp, and I'm not going to do black. We're going to do just this gathered twigs color, because I want it pretty neutral. I know black is neutral, but I want it pretty neutral as far as whatever I stamp. So let's figure out here. I like the postage one, so let's do that. I'm going to get a block just because I want to make sure it stamps well. If I just use my fingers, that's hit or miss. So I'm just going to push it down into that gathered twigs. And especially here, I'm going to put a stamp like that and then kind of off stamp it there. I like that. Very cute. And then where I don't want something is inside the flap, but I do want to stamp here, so I'm just going to put a little piece of paper like so, and that way it just gets my stamp on the cover and not inside there. Okay, and then just figure out where else I want to do it. I'm going to off stamp and then stamp here and then off stamp, because I don't want it too noticeable. I just want it kind of in the background of stuff. Okay, and then off stamp it there. Yep, I like that. Let's do one off stamped up here. There we go. I like that. Just a little bit of faint stamping. Very cute, in my opinion. And then I'm going to do a little bit of inking. And I will need my mat. So we're going to do a little bit of splatter. And I just got to figure out what colors I want to do that in. I think I'm just going to do fossilized amber. Fossilized amber. And this is the oxide spray, so it will sit on top of whatever you splatter or spray it on. If we had just the regular distress spray, it soaks into and becomes like a background. The oxide sits on top and gives you that oxidation quality every once in a while too. So that's always a good thing. I love the oxidation process. Very pretty. Let's get a few on here and there and everywhere, and maybe just a touch more right there. I like that. Okay, so that was fossilized amber, like a mustardy color. that I just absolutely love from Tim Holtz. And we have that in the shop. That's one of our main colors that we carry in the shop. So that is pretty much finished. When everything dries, I'm going to come in here and trim off that where it needs to be trimmed, where the bag started, because I'm a little over right there. I smeared that just a little bit. I'm good with that. And I'm going to take the heat tool to it after I knock stuff off and down and all around, and get some of this oxidizing, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Okay, so I have trimmed down that little piece there and inked around and dirtied up just a little bit around the edges. And I think we are ready to fold it in half. Now, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to fold it this way. And I'm going to get it even up this way. It's just easier for me to get it evened up backwards first when I've decorated something. Okay, and then before I finish up, I've got a little bit of overhang here that I'm going to go ahead and trim off, and just being very careful not to trim my paper bag, because then you're going to open it up on top and have a pocket that you never intended to have. Okay, there, and then I did trim a little bit of it. It'll be okay. I'll cover it up with something. Okay, and then see, we've got that bend there, so we know where that's going to eventually start cracking or bending or whatever. So you want to put down some extra glue. If you want to come in with Mod Podge, like I was saying earlier, that's really going to help that to stick together. And I will probably go in with that Mod Podge after I get all of this done, just to show you anyway, and then we'll get those edges laid down a little bit better. Okay, and then I'm going to go all the way here to the edge and make sure we are even Stevens. And I'm going to get my bone folder and I'm going to press and press and press. I'm not going to go back and forth because we've got all of that scrap paper there that will tear, especially if it's still wet. So we don't want to go back and forth like we normally would with our bone folder. Okay, so then we have this little bitty piece here that we might just have to trim off because it's barely got enough to fold over the spine. Okay, if you have any like that, you can keep it folded and fold that over and just hope for the best, or you can just trim off that little edge if you want to. But that is the cover of our little journal, and I am loving this, y'all. It is so cute. Okay, front of our little mini journal that we decorated with scraps. There is the back. I love all of the splatter. So cute. So now what we would need to do is add in whatever decoration we want on the inside and then add in our signature. Love that. And I believe that I will do just a little two-parter of this video, and on the next video of this, I won't have this as an M Scrap Busters for next week or anything. I'll just add it in as an extra video. The next video that we do with this, we'll go ahead and decorate the inside of this, put in some pockets if we want to, and add in our signature. What do y'all think about that? I've never done a two-parter, and the first part was a Scrapbusters. That's neat. I love that. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you make a bag journal or any type of journal cover and you decorate it with scraps, I want to see. So make sure to use the hashtag #Scrapbusters so that I can find it. You can post it on whatever social media. Now, I'm not on Twitter, but you know, you can post it there. I'm just not on Twitter. But you can post it on any social media with that hashtag, and I will be able to find it. And if you are on Facebook and it's your personal page, just make sure that it's not set to private so that I can actually see it if you post it on your regular personal Facebook. Y'all have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. God bless. Love y'all. Bye.